Hey everyone on YouTube, this is Jack with Average Consumer, where we ask two questions. Is it worth your time and is it worth your money? And today we are going to chat about the Tribit Flybuds. And this is a new category for me because I have typically have stuck, and I'm still old school. I like to have that cord going to my phone. And as we all know, those headphone jacks are quickly disappearing. If you look at the Microsoft new Surface lineups, some of those laptop devices are starting to even remove the standard headphone jack. So we're all being forced to go to Bluetooth or some other wireless device of some kind. And then the second reason is, being from Minnesota, a new law was passed where we have to go hands-free. So I was looking for a Bluetooth headphone headset type device. And then these Tribits came up. And I was like, well, it was a super sale. I got them for half off as they were trying to push these out to the public. And I got these for like $32-34. So I'm going to throw that into the big pro pile because at $32-34, that's really a hard deal to beat, because a lot of the single Bluetooth headsets that I was looking at were well north of that. So I thought it was kind of a no-brainer. Thought I'd give them a try. So I'm going to start with some pros, then go into some of the cons, and then at the end we will ask our two questions. So first, like I said, I couldn't beat the price, and at the normal price, I think they're going to be like $69. I think there's a lot of functionality here that it's going to appeal to a lot of people. So I'll put that into the pro column, whether you get them at half off or on a sale to $70. That's going to be hard to beat. Part of it, and I'm going to give Tribit a lot of credit for this, is every piece of Tribit merchandise and product that I've ever touched all have a very strong build, design, and look and feel that you always feel like you're picking up something pretty substantial. And that's going to be the case here with these as well. The case is really tiny, and I'm going to even put that as a pro. It's something that can be easily thrown in your pocket and thrown in your backpack and just kind of forgotten about. If you remember the old Palm Pre, and I know I'm dating myself there a little bit, but it's got a lot of that same feel to it. Nice rounded corners, this pleather design. I really like this case, and you can kind of get an idea. That's one of my son's Hot Wheels cars, but it's really a tiny case. I really like this compact design. Another aspect of this is that when you open this up, there are the Bluetooth headsets pieces, and when you close it, the indicators show that they are charging. Another thing is that you have another indicator on the USB-C port. Yep, USB-C, which is also another benefit. Like that, to see that future-proofed a little bit. There's an LED indicator there as well, as that's being charged. Talking about charging, the battery life on these are great. 6 hours on the earbuds, and then another 30 in the case. So when you pop those things in, and they suck in there with magnets, you can get a fair amount of use out of these just on the battery life alone. So in the end, how do they sound? Well, I really have a hard time telling people how things sound, because the sound is very objective. And frankly, since these are the first pair of true wireless earbuds that I have ever experienced, I have a harder time expressing this, because frankly, I still think a lot of the wired headphones sound better to me on a lot of things. Even with, I have a pair of Mark IIs over the ear Sony noise canceling headphones that I really like, but frankly, I still don't think they're quite as good. And when I plug them in with my headphone jack into there and shut off the noise canceling, they just frankly sound better. In fact, they sound a lot like the MD V6 or whatever they're called, like their old studio headphones, and I like that sound as well. The sound quality here, as I put them in the same category as these old Klipsch earbuds that I have, and not going to blow you away, and frankly they didn't blow me away, but they do have a fair and decent sound quality, especially at this price point. If you're a bass head, this may not be the headphone for you. They do have plenty of bass, and I found myself thinking that I have plenty of bass for the type of music I listen to. But if you're somebody who's into hip hop or something else, you might be wanting to look at something somewhere else. Trebles were there, but not shrill. I'd even say the mids are there a little bit, just fine. And the vocals and everything are decently produced. Like I said, they didn't blow me away, but they didn't leave me wanting more either. They were a decent sounding headphone. The other pro is that for this price point, these actually have touch controls. So when you put them in your ear, you touch them, and you can pause, play, answer phone calls, that type of thing. There's no, that's pretty much it. I think you can do a double tap and it skips to the next track. There's no volume up, volume down, any of those things that I've experienced on the Sony headphones. But I mean, for the price point, I mean, that's pretty sizable feature that you have touch pads on these little earbuds, and it seems to work okay. But I am going to say that is, as we switch to the cons, that's also going to be one of my big cons associated with these. And I will start there on the cons list. When you touch these to pause your music or play those music, there is a sizable delay. I mean, like a significant delay. So when you touch it, you actually have to give it like a full second or more for it to respond accordingly. And I frankly found myself growing impatient, and I kept tapping on it, and it would start and stop, and because it couldn't react fast enough. So keep that in mind. There's a pretty significant delay there. The earbuds, they must be, they're extremely touchy as well. I found these headphones constantly, and I mean constantly, pausing on their own. I'd have to reach up and tap to get things to play again. And I don't know if it was the touchpad doing that or the earbuds doing them themselves. I don't have that experience. I use a Pixel XL 2 XL for these devices, and I don't have anything else pausing and playing on their own like this before. So I have to assume that it's the Flybuds doing this. And I guess I'm just going to blame the touchpads. And frankly, it got downright, and does get downright annoying how frequently they pause on their own. I did experience a couple situations too where all of a sudden, within wearing them for a couple hours, they just powered down. They made the announcement and they just shut off. And I don't know what caused that either. So I'm going to point that out because it happened more than once. And the battery life in the earbuds themselves had plenty of time left. So it couldn't be that they were running out of power, because as soon as I put them back in the case, closed the lid, opened them again, repaired, I checked the battery and it was still like 60 to 80% of the battery still remaining. So I'm not sure exactly what was causing that, but frankly, that's kind of a downside too. And then lastly is I found it very disappointing that these headphones did not work properly right out of the box. When I got these, I could only get one earbud to work. They'd pair, and I could get sound out of one earbud, and I thought there was some sort of issue. So I think Tribit is well aware of this issue as well, because one of the first videos they posted regarding the Flybuds is a way to reset them. So you take these earbuds out of the case, touch the pads, both of them at the same time for a few, I don't know, 10 seconds or something, to reset, go through the reset process. In fact, I didn't get that to work even properly the first couple times that I tried it. But eventually they reset, they paired, and then I was off and running. So I'm not sure exactly what was going on there. That user experience is frankly kind of disappointing, and I just didn't really like having to deal with it. So let's see, I'm going to look at my list here to see if we hit everything, but I'm going to pause this video, and hopefully I'm going to connect these earbuds to the computer so you can get a decent example of what the sound quality is, and as you're taking phone calls. The big thing here is I'll give you some ideas as to what I thought of the situation and what feedback I've gotten from some callers that I've had, and as I've been making some phone calls here. So we'll see you on the flip side of this brief break. So if this was working properly, and it looks like it is right now, you should be hearing my voice through the microphone of the Tribit. You can see that they do reset into the ear canal just fine, and they don't stick out too bad. So I guess I missed that as part of one of the pros. I frankly don't find these type of devices that comfortable, so I'm going to give that as a con. And after long periods of time, I just have the fatigue, and eventually they just start to hurt. So I guess I'm not a huge fan associated with this. If you have kids, my 13-year-old she couldn't get these things to fit in her ear at all. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about getting something like this for a kid. But you can see they sit there. It sits there just fine. So in the end, what do I think of the Tribit Flybuds? Is it worth your money? If you can get them for under $70, I think they are. That seems like a decent value, especially if you can get them on any kind of sale. Like I got them for $34. That's really hard to beat. Is it worth your time? I'm going to say no. They are a pain in the butt, especially right out of the box. And if they're going to continue to pause and play and pause and play and power off on their own, I'm going to have to say it's a pass. So that is my opinion. I really appreciate your time. I know it's valuable, and if you found any value in what I'm doing here, please like, subscribe, and shoot me a comment. I'm happy to try to answer any questions I can. Like I said, I am not a technical expert when it comes to this type of thing. I'm just kind of giving you my general thoughts, as I am just frankly tired of having to deal with some of the electronics, and I want things to just simply work. Well, thanks again, and we'll see you next time.